Hi everybody, my name is Steven. I am a game store owner in East Tennessee and we play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons at my shop. So today I'm going to give you a quick build for a human fighter using the variant feature that humans can get to pick Polearm Master. So I'm going to pull up just a completed level 1 sheet if you just want to copy this down and you don't want to hear the explanation, you just want to see the stats. Here they are. And you can pause the video if you would like and just copy those down, and I will explain how we got here and then give you some suggestions for your fighter all the way to level 5. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick the human variant trait. It's found on page 30 of the player's handbook. You can also use D&D Beyond, but of course I recommend that you just get the hardcover. It's nicer. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick variant human so that we can get a feat, and then you are going to want to pick fighter as your class. So we're going to be a human variant fighter, and then our background we're going to want to pick sailor. So let's go ahead and pull up our blank sheet here. So we're going to want to pick sailor as our background, we're going to want to pick human variant, and we're going to want to be fighter. The skills that you're going to get from this are going to be stealth, survival, athletics, insight, and perception. And so that's a total of 5 skills. 2 come from your background, 2 come from you picking fighter, and then 1 comes from human variant. It gets to be a skill of your choice. And that's what we've got there. Let's go ahead and assign our stats. We are using the point buy system, so this character will be legal for Dungeons and Dragons Adventures League play. So if you're into that, then you can use this character. You can calculate the way you calculate point buy. There's a whole system to it and an explanation of how you allocate stats and stuff. But I just like to use this point buy calculator provided by chicken-dinner.com. Whoever made this site is a wonderful person, and I love them. So we're going to want to pick human variants, and the 2 ability scores we want the +1 in are going to be strength and constitution, because we're a big burly fighter and we're going to be on the front line. So go ahead and take your strength all the way up to 15, because that's the highest you can take it using the point buy system. And our racial bonus, we'll take it to 16 for a total ability modifier of 3. We're going to do the same thing on constitution. Dexterity will take up to 12. I like a +1 in dexterity because it's helpful a lot of the time. Intelligence at 10, wisdom at 10, and then we're not very charismatic. Our extra point just dumps into charisma. It doesn't do anything for us, I know. We just have a floating point. We're not very charming. Story of my life. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and copy these stats down here. Here's our total scores. We're going to copy these over to our character sheet. 16 on strength, 12 on dexterity, 16 on constitution, 10 on intelligence, 10 on wisdom, and 9 on charisma. Our saving throws for a fighter, we are proficient in strength saving throws and constitution saving throws. This sheet will automatically mark that for you, but if they didn't, that's where you need to be. All right, so now we picked our background. Alignment doesn't matter to me. I picked chaotic good. We've got our stats here, and now we just need to go down and kind of like get our other level 1 starting stuff. So for the fighter class, at level 1, we get to pick a fighting style, and we get the skill second wind. So fighting style, we're going to want to pick great weapon fighting. And the reason for that is we are going to be rolling a lot of dice, and we want those dice to do damage, and 1s and 2s aren't really great damage, so getting to re-roll those, that's going to be really great. And then the other thing we get, of course, is second wind, which is kind of like a healing spell that fighters get at level 1. It regenerates after a short or long rest. And essentially in combat, we can use our bonus action to regain 1d10 plus our fighter level in strength. So go ahead and add great weapon fighting and second wind. Don't add an extra attack. Great weapon fighting and second wind to your character sheet. And then one thing I did forget to add, our starting hit points are going to be 13. And the way we get this number is your starting hit points are going to be 10 plus your constitution modifier for a fighter. So our constitution modifier is 3. 10 plus 3 is 13. Okay, so we've got all that down. Now let's pick our starting equipment. And this is also, it's right here, class features. 10 plus your constitution modifier. So we've picked our skills. We've got our saving throws. Now we've got to pick our equipment. What are we getting? We're getting chainmail or leather armor. We're getting chainmail. Chainmail changes our armor class to 14. So now we're just a little bit beefier there. Then we get to pick a martial weapon or two martial weapons. Martial weapon and a shield are two martial weapons. The only martial weapon that matters for this build is a halberd. So I recommend that you pick up a halberd. A halberd does 1d10 damage, and it will allow us to use the Polearm Master feat, which I've been talking about a lot, but I haven't showed you what it does. So this is Polearm Master. This is the feat that we're going to be picking at level 1. The martial weapon we picked is a polearm, and what this allows us to do is when we make a basic attack, we get to follow it up with the butt of the weapon and use our bonus action to essentially make another attack. And at level 1, this is very, very strong. Most of the time, you don't get an extra attack as a martial class until level 5, so this is a big deal. I'll let you go ahead and read this, but the important parts are this. When you're attacking with a polearm, you can make a follow-up attack with the butt of the weapon, and the butt of the weapon deals 1d4 plus your modifier bludgeoning damage. And then your halberd has 5 feet of extra reach. So if anything comes within the reach of your weapon in combat, you can use your reaction to make an attack against that enemy or monster. And essentially what this is going to be doing is doubling or tripling the number of attacks you can make every time it's your turn in combat. If an enemy kind of tries to run past you to get to your buddies behind you, you can use your reaction to make an attack against that enemy and maybe like distract it or kill it and stop it from attacking the squishies behind you. One thing to keep in mind, you only get to use one reaction per combat round. So if it's your turn and then you pass turn and it's somebody else runs by you, you get to use your reaction to attack them. You can't constantly use your reaction to just attack people as they run past you. You can only do it once. We're not Time Lords just yet, but we do get to become sort of a Time Lord when we get to level 2. So now that we've established the feats that you're getting and your stats and all your starting equipment and stuff like that, let's get into a few other things here. So starting equipment, we got that martial weapon. We've got our chainmail. Light crossbow is what I recommend you take, just in case you need to do ranged. Dungeoneer's pack or Explorer's pack, depends on the campaign, your choice. So next thing we get, Action Surge at level 2. So at level 2 you get Action Surge, and it lets you, basically you get a spell that lets you take an extra turn. It's a time walk, which is huge and very fun to use. I recommend you use it early and often. If you're in a dungeon, obviously I would wait until you get to the boss to use Action Surge and then just burn it right away. But that's strategy. You can play it how you'd like. Essentially, what you get to do starting at 2nd level is you can take an extra action after your initial action. So for us, that's going to be another attack. All right. Next, what happens when we hit level 3? Level 3, we get to pick a martial archetype, which are, there's a bunch now, but we're just using, like for this build, we're just using the base player's handbook. So what I'm going to recommend you pick, just because it is simple and easy and fun to use, is Champion. And the reason why we're picking Champion, we get improved critical. So instead of critting on only a 20, you crit on a 19 and a 20, which means that you're going to crit more often and get to roll even more damage dice. All right, so that's level 3. Level 4, we get an ability score improvement, or we can also pick a feat at level 4. So because we already picked a feat at level 1, I recommend that we go ahead and do the ability score improvement and take our strength modifier from 3 to 4 by taking our strength up to 18. That's just going to let us hit things better, hit things harder. And then finally, at 5th level, we get an extra attack. So now you can go attack, attack, bonus attack on your turn. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage. You get to roll a lot of dice. It's always going to be feel like you're doing something in combat. So at 5th level, you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. And that increases again at level 11. But like I said, I'm only taking you up to level 5. What you do with those other levels in Fighter is entirely up to you. This has been a quick build with Card Shop Talk. And thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.